Welcome to the second lecture of the SKE Society's teacher training program for Google for Education. In the first lecture, we saw how we can log into Google Classroom, what are the basic features that it has, where everything is located. Today, we are going to look at a more focused approach at Google Classroom. That is how we are going to create an assignment, and then how we are going to send that assignment to the students, how we are going to grade that assignment, and all of these features that Google Classroom has built in that makes the teacher's life much easier, because there are a lot of features that automate the task of the teacher. So today we'll just look at how we can leverage this to make sure that we can send an assignment to the student, to keep the student always engaged, especially in these times when they cannot physically come to the classroom. So it's always important to note that if you give any teaching to the student, make sure to always follow up with an assignment or a small quiz. So today we will be doing the assignment part, and in the next lecture we'll talk about how to set up quizzes so that the students can have a quick to do at the end of a class, just to refresh their memory about the main points that you've covered in the lecture. So let's create an assignment. First we'll need to go to Google Classroom, so that's classroom.google.com, and it'll ask us to sign in. This is my institution ID. If you require an institution ID, please contact the relevant person in your institution who has access to Google for Education. So here we have the classroom that we've created, the test classroom, and if you look through classwork, there's nothing there because we've not created anything to give the students, and there are no students either. So first we'll just add a student. I just type in this sample student that I have created. Most of the students will have a gmail.com ID, and we invite them. Once we've invited the student will have to make sure that they log in. So this is the ID. I'm just going to log in here. And it'll take me to the student's email ID. As you can see here, this student has received an invitation from me to join the class. So I'm going to click on join, and I will be joining the classroom. That is Philosophy BA 3. Right, so and we're going to continue, and here this, whatever I've posted earlier, and I had posted this in the first video, so you can see that all of this is visible to the student. So now we've got to give them some classwork. As you can see, there's no classwork here, right? So we need to make sure that the student gets some classwork, and a classwork is basically the assignments that we give to the students. So we're going to go to classwork here. So this is our our staff account. So this is my staff account, rpdbgm.edu.in, not the student's account. This is the staff account, and I go to classwork. So this is stream, this is classwork, and I create assignment, right? And now I'll have to type an assignment. So before we type an assignment, we need to plan an assignment, right? And that's very important that we plan it properly. Especially we need to plan it with how we're going to grade it. So we're going to just look at a couple of issues, and we'll hash out all these issues first by just going to the Jamboard. So I'm just going to open the Jamboard, which is another feature of Google for Education, and a Jamboard is just simply a whiteboard. So we're going to open a new one. And so here we have it. It's a simple thing with a pen and an eraser, select or sticky notes, or add an image, or a laser. So we just select the pen and we select color, and now we have this. So I'm just going to start drawing out. Let's say we have an assignment, and this assignment, first we'll find a title, okay, a general broad outline for what we want. Now for the final year students, they have to talk about a religion, so we are just going to have a comparative religious study based on the similarities and differences. So we'll just call it world religions. So world religions, and in world religions we need to look at a few things. So with any assignment, we want to give the students some sort of skill so that they can start using that, not just in this context. So world religions, we look at it from the point of view of finding comparisons and classification. So classification is a skill, and comparison. So these are both skills that we can get the student to use, and this can be used for other things as well. So classification has to be based on three concepts that are the main focus of these students. So let's say each religion is a section, so gets a separate section. So that is this section of religion, okay, gets 300 words, and in these things they have to talk about concept of God. Second is the basic tenets or beliefs, and the third is the moral virtues that they espouse, right? So this is, so you can write this up earlier also if you don't want to write it in your classroom. So I'm just showing you how to use this software, and so I'm just showing you that this is the way that you can use it. Okay, so now we're going to look at how to grade this, right? So the comparison comes in the conclusion, the classification is here, right? So each religion has to get a separate, have to analyze the concept of God and the basic tenets of the beliefs of that religion, and then the moral virtues that generally that religion focuses on. And then after having classified, we can compare which religions are similar, dissimilar, all of those things. So now we are going to look at how we are going to grade this. First of all, I have made accuracy is one of the most important things for me, that it has to be, the information has to be accurate. Then we have to look at references to see that they've made proper references and not just copied anything off Wikipedia. Third is we are going to look at the structure, that means how the argument is structured in each section, whether there is proper flow between the different points. And finally, we are going to look at presentation, that means how they've presented it in terms of design, also in terms of grammar and errors and other things that they have. So I'm going to change this name here. I'm going to call it assignment world religions. So it's always good to name everything separately so that you have you don't get lost after you have, let's say, 50-60 different files all called untitled. That would become a big problem to find out exactly where you've referenced something. So here, this is the basic layout of how this assignment is going to be. And this is not a solution for everybody. In fact, this is a solution only for this very specific topic. You as a teacher knows exactly what the student needs to learn. So always when you're setting an assignment or any sort of activity for the student, put in front of your eyes the goals that you wish to achieve, and those goals preferably have to be as skills that the student can use. So that because for testing it's always easiest to test via some skill, so and a skill is tested via an activity. So right now there are two skills that I want the student to cultivate using the world religions as a topic, and that is the classification and comparison. Now classification can also work in terms of biology, which uses a lot of classification, right, and comparison as well. So now these don't automatically get translated in that field, so each staff member has to break down that topic into to find out what are the skills that you need to encourage the student to come up with, and then to create activities based on that. So this is an example, a very specific example from my own subject, which I am using as an example to show you how to create an assignment. So now that we've done this, this is going to be our grading system, and this is going to be our assignment system. So I'm just going to show you how we are going to create this assignment. So I'm going to say world religions and comparison. Right, and this is a very basic exercise that is found all over the internet, so I've just used a lot of the elements there. So you can use wherever you want, you can just find your inspiration somewhere and customize it for your students. So here we are going to say please write a comparative study of religions of the world. Make sure that each section has minimum 300 words. Each section will also contain these 3 subheadings. Number 1, concept of God. Number 2, belief systems or tenets. Number 3, moral virtues. And conclusion, please conclude with a comparative analysis of the different religions. That is, the similarities and differences. So now that we've made it abundantly clear to the student exactly what we want, we can now add a template. So now what we need is to add in a template so that the students can write. So we just copy all of this, open my drive folder, drive.google.com. It'll take me to the drive, and I will create a little file template, and we'll call this world religions template, right? And world religions assignment template. That is very important. And then we paste this here, right? And we'll just put a header saying world religions assignment, right? And we just give it a little bit template like number 1, religion name, and next we have these 3 subheadings, and we keep the conclusion as a header. Say header number 2, put conclusion. So now the student knows that this is the basic template that we need. They need to fill this in. So once we're done with this, we will go back to our assignment and we'll add from Google Drive this document. So here you can see that we've just created this document, and we'll click on make a copy for each student, and we are done. So now this section we will look at how many students to assign this to. Since I have added only BA third year students, it will go to third year students, and we're going to go to all the students. Here this will give you a drop down of all the students assigned, but we are just going to send it to all the students. The points are going to be out of 100, and we are going to put a due date, and the due date will be, let's say, 10th or 11th, and we'll say the time is up till midnight of 11th. They can submit it. And here we don't need to add anything. We do need to create a rubric. Now let's go back to our Jamboard. You see that here these are the 4 ways in which all of this has been added to the assignment template, but this has been placed here specifically as a reference to how we are going to evaluate the assignment. And so evaluation will be based on these 4 criteria, and this is the rubric. Rubric is a evaluation criteria. This makes it much easier for us to grade an assignment. So criteria number 1, we'll call it accuracy, and we'll just put a note here, criteria description, so that we don't forget, because after writing hundreds of rubrics you'll forget what you have set this criteria for. So we're going to say points awarded for accurate information on the topic. So mistakes in the information will lead to points being deducted, and let's say we put 10 points. Now we can put in each section we can put, like, let's say 10 points for accuracy in terms of academia, or accuracy in terms of spellings. I'm just giving an example. Depends. You can break up the point systems as well. You can make it 1 point each and 10 points within a criteria, but we are not going to do all of that. We are just going to make it quite simple, and that is, we'll make it 10 points and 1 criteria. Now we'll add another criterion, and that is references. So we'll call it references, and the points awarded for proper academic citation. Right, and this is very important. We need to train students in giving proper academic citation, so that they can generally develop a better sense of research. And we have third one, structure. Points awarded for flow and argument structure in the explanation. So here we'll give another 10 points, and then another last criteria is presentation, and in presentation we say points awarded for visual presentation and deducted in case of errors. So these could be any errors, grammatical or visual errors. For instance, if you put the wrong image of something, then that would generally be deducted from presentation. So now that we have this, the out of 40 points, and based on this 40 points, it will generate 100 out of 100 marks. So it will, whatever points we've given here, that will be converted into 100 for the final grade that the student will get for the assignment. So if you don't understand what I'm talking about, I'll show you very easily how this can be handled. So now that we've done this, we've added our rubric, we've created a title, we've added the instructions for the students, we've added a template. Now we're just going to assign. You can schedule, as usual, you can schedule the assignment to go at a particular time, or you can assign it immediately. Or if you're not done with it, you can save the draft and come back and work on it later. That is also a possibility. So now we have this world religion, which means it's gone out to some students. Let's click on this and see. So it says assigned. Since I have one student, it's assigned to that one student, but that student hasn't turned it in. So you can immediately check out how many students have been assigned the assignment and how many students have already turned it in. Clicking on it will give you the results. Right. So let's now jump to the students page. So this is how the student would see it. So we have our student here, right, and the stream was updated. So we're going to see that, and the stream was updated to show that this assignment has been created by the staff member that the student attends, the classes for which the student attends. Okay, so you've got to hand it in. They're just showing you what work is expected. It even tells the student here all the criteria under which, so it makes it very transparent by giving you the criteria under which the student is expected to score marks. So make sure that this information is clear so that the student understands it. So this is, so now we shall see how we can start editing the assignment and sending it in like a student, how a student would do it. So here we have opened the file. We can see that, let's make the change to Hinduism, and here we're just going to put polytheism, henotheism, and monism. These are the three kinds of philosophies that permeate Hinduism and the concepts of God. Here we are going to say rituals and sacrifices, and here we are going to say dharma. So I mean, obviously the student will have to write 300 words and we'll have to put a conclusion. So I'm just adding an example. This is a conclusion, and I've done, I will turn in. So now I'm turning in the assignment. Should I hand in? Let's say yes, hand it in please, and we've handed it in. Now in case you made, the student has made a mistake, then they can always unsubmit it, edit it and submit it back again, but that is for the student's point of view. We'll look at it from the staff's point of view. Now we have one turned in assignment and you can see it here. Let's go back to the classroom so that we have a good idea. When we go to classwork, we come here and we click on this and we look at how many people have turned it, and it will open this page, right? And we don't know what the grade is. Out of 100, there's nothing there. So we open this assignment and we see it, right? And we have to evaluate it, right? And evaluation is based on these 4 criteria that come right here, and the grade will be given automatically. So I want to evaluate as accuracy, so I click here and it will automatically assign 10 points, but I'm going to say here I'm going to give it a 7. Then references, I'm going to click here and I say instead of 10 I'm going to give it an 8. And structures, I click on this section and instead of 10 I give it a 6. And presentation, I click here and I'll give this a 5. Right, so this is done. automatically you will see the grade has been assigned here 77.5, and the rubric has given 26 out of 40. So this automatically is assigned. Once the marks have been assigned, you say return, and it will ask you to confirm, and when you confirm, you will submit this to the grading system. So one student has already been graded. So if we go back to the classroom and we look at grades, we will see the assignment that has been given, the class average, and the student's personal grades. So you can at one time have a glance of all the students' progress. So let's say you've given 10 assignments will be seen here, and the class average of each of those assignments and the student's average, percentage of that assignment allows you to keep track of how well the class has gone that you have taught before this, and what the students have responded to, and whether you need to make a check on revising that that topic, or trying a different method to teach so the students can better grasp what the class is about. So all of this system is for the staff member to see the progress of the student and to remotely verify that the student is learning something or not. And that is how Google for Classrooms using assignments can make this possible and very easy to use. So this is how to use Google Classroom for creating assignments. How to in this class we've gone through creating an assignment, adding students, creating an assignment, then brainstorming about that assignment, how we are going to give it to the students, what kind of goals we want to achieve, what kind of skills we want to test, then finalizing a rubric that is the way in which we are going to evaluate the students' work, and finally creating a template, sending it to the students, and then grading the students' assignments when it has been submitted, and finally checking the grade of the student in the teacher's portal. So this is how you can use Google Classroom to effectively use assignment as a teaching tool. Thank you.